Are you ready for your first feature this evening? Awesome. Now, this guy actually smells like the sweet scent of funny. He performs as often on TV as he does on street corners. And get this, man, he once worked on a goat farm. It's really cool. So get your hooves together, because he can't. And welcome to the stage, Garry Bradbury, folks.
Thanks very much. Great to be here. My name's Garry, and I'm actually a saxophone-playing stand-up comedian that used to be a goat farmer. Started playing the saxophone when I was 15. It was my parents' idea. I think possibly to give me something else to do with my hands. I grew up in a place called Wollonga in South Australia. Wollonga is an Aboriginal word meaning place of green trees. But to my sisters and I growing up, Wollonga meant place of no public transport. And we actually used to breed and show Toggenburg dairy goats. They're the milking kind. Incidentally, goat's milk is very good for asthma sufferers. There's nothing funny about that. But sometimes when I do stand-up comedy, I like to pass on information that can help improve the quality of a person's life. Or maybe help you out in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Lock in C, Eddie Goat's Milk. Yeah, I saw it on the Comedy Channel. No need to phone a friend on this one. On the goat farm, we had the does, right? We had the does, they're the girls, right? Bit of history, bit of lessons, bit of learning. Does, girls. And we had a stud buck. Now, our stud buck's name was Mitchell. Now, our stud buck Mitchell, right? I don't know how to tell you people this. He used to like to perform fellatio on himself. It's true. Goats are capable of this activity. They've got a curved spine and a penis that can reach their mouth. Those of you that believe in reincarnation might like to keep that in mind. Now, mating season would come around, right? The does, that's the girls, they started acting like girls in a nightclub that have had a few Bacardi breezes, a few gin and tonics, and they would bleat out across the field to Mitchell. Nah, nah, nah. Which I guess is goat for horny, horny. Mitchell couldn't care less, you know, for the obvious reason that he could perform fellatio on himself. And you know our stud buck Mitchell, right? We bought him from a big dairy goat farm, and his parents were Australian champions. And his grandparents, also Australian champions. Whole family, very big on the goat circuit. So consequently, Mitchell's sperm was valuable. So we placed an ad for Mitchell in a magazine called The Goat Journal, which comes out quarterly for those of you that might like to subscribe. And in the back of the Goat Journal, they have, I guess, what you'd call a goat personal section. We put an ad in something like, "Hey, does, looking for a good time, call Mitch." And I kid you not, no pun intended, people used to travel from miles around South Australia with goats on the back of a trailer, and they would pay me money to let Mitchell have sex with their goats. I was like a goat pimp. Used to wear a big fur coat and lots of rings on my fingers, play my sax. You know, I once told that story at a comedy show. A mate of mine was in the audience. He comes up afterwards and goes, "You know what, Garry? I can perform fellatio on myself." Took me 4 years of yoga classes. So I asked the obvious question, do you swallow? To which he replied, "No fucking way. I'm not weird." You seen that movie, The Sound of Music? You should have. It's on about 15 times a year. Now, in The Sound of Music, Julie Andrews sings a song called My Favourite Things, and she sings about raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens and bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens and brown paper packages tied up with strings. Now I'm here to tell you people that those things are okay, but they're not exactly what I'd call my favourite fucking things. And I was thinking that if I got cast in The Sound of Music and I had to play Julie Andrews' part, I'd have to change the words to that song. So if I sang it, it'd go like this. Vodka with cigarettes, a joint and a porno. Chicks in bikinis and getting a horno. Girls who are naked or just in G-strings. These are a few of my favourite things. Beer and some football, a good game of cricket. Telling employers just where they can stick it. Having a bonk on a bed with good springs. These are a few of my favourite things. Putting my feet up in front of the telly, eating a meat pie with a beer on my belly, having a blowjob for the pleasure it brings. These are a few of my favourite things. Popping an eckie or dropping some acid, smoking a big joint and feeling quite placid, playing the pokies and getting 5 kings. These are a few of my favourite things. When I gamble and I lose all and I'm feeling sad. Fuck you, Queen of the Nile Machine, you fucking slut. I just spent all my money trying to get you fucking pyramids of free games. I simply remember my favourite things and then I don't feel so bad. Says mine. I got a girlfriend now, which is good. I like having a girlfriend. I've done a lot of dating in my life, and it seems to me the idea behind the date, the first date, is to get to know the person on the date. But it occurred to me that at no point on a first date do we ever tell any truth about ourselves. So I reckon if we told the truth about ourselves on a first date, it's quite possible none of us would have ever been in a relationship in our lives. You imagine on a first date, guy and girl go out to dinner, the guy starts talking about himself and actually told the truth. Probably be something like this. Well, what can I tell you? I really don't like washing up, and usually the only reason I do is because there are no clean dishes left. I hate vacuuming, I was going to take the garbage out. Oh yeah, often I put empty milk cartons back in the fridge and I can never remember to turn the iron off. I like to get drunk with my friends, then come home and throw up. I leave rotten vegetables in my fridge for months. Sometimes when I'm driving my car, I pick my nose and wipe it under the seat. I like to fart and burp loudly, waste money and look at naked women. When I cut my toenails, I like to aim them at things. I leave pubic hairs on the soap, whiskers in the sink, I don't return phone calls, and I can never find my car keys. So, tell me about yourself, darling. Then I think if a woman was actually truthful on the first date, she'd be a bit more like this. Well, I like to go shopping even though I have no intention of buying anything. I take a long time to get ready and even then I'm not happy with the way I look. I will constantly worry about my weight. When I get my periods, I can be a real fucking cow. I will always complain that I never have anything to wear. I will ask you your advice and tell you that you don't know what you're talking about. I will use your razor to shave my armpits. I will talk during important sporting events. And I'll never admit that I'm wrong. You know, it wouldn't matter if a girl said that to a guy, though, because a guy would still be like, so, you want to come back to my place? Should say, out of all the relationships I've been in a few long-term relationships, I've played a few day-night games, and it seems to me that some of you women are easier to please than others, you know, and I try to make an effort in the love-making department, but I've discovered sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not, you know. Sometimes we're like winning gold for Australia. We can hear Bruce McAvaney commentating in our head. Other times we go to visit your special place, we could be down there for months. We forget what we're doing. Oh, that's right. Well, that particular activity's really improved my saxophone playing. It's improved my tonguing, my fingering technique, and I'd like to give you a bit of an example. Thank you very much, folks. You've been great. Thank you.